Peace, peace from the house of Tonya 23 and the Tonya 23 experience. Well, I think there's a title there, and it says, when is man going to really know God? Goddess, source, whatever have you. I have an encyclopedia of 5,000 spirits. All of them are gods or goddesses. Let's let the cards give us a path. And I think the first deck I'm going to start with, which is where civilization of humans has been said to have begun. We're going to start in ancient Egypt, aka ancient Kemet. So we will be starting with the goddess deck. Let us get a card that will help us explain to us the concept of God, goddess, putting anyone or anything before your higher self, but actually knowing your source here, right? What does here mean on Earth? If I'm not mistaken, we're on Earth. We're not on Saturn, Mars, Uranus, Venus, Pluto, or any of the other planets. We're here on Earth. So we have to deal with, at this time, the Earth God. You might have to deal with the afterlife God. But is there only one? And should there be only one? Don't we have a problem with dictatorships? Okay, so on the fourth cut, we shall pick a card that is going to help us, last cut. It's going to help us come to some consciousness, some understanding about this. That would be the card. I shook loose my own lashes. It's always in alignment. Let us read the flower of life. We're talking about God, goddess, and I told you that we were going to have a card that is going to help us once and for all come to some understanding and some consciousness about the situation here, where we have religions and whatnot that seem to have shaped the minds of the earthlings. And so we have to deal with that. And so the card that Spirit wants us to talk about is the flower of life. And at the bottom of here, it says, divine creativity and manifestation. Mind you, this is a goddess deck of the goddess Offset, and we have asked her to tell us about creation. Now notice, this is being answered by the feminine energy. What better energy to answer a creation when we say God? We're talking about creativity and manifestation divinely, right? Directly. So after this lesson, we should not be confused anymore down here, okay? Because this is going to tell us. Now, flower of life. Most of you know this sacred geometrical pattern, and it is called the flower of life. It is the core of divine creativity and manifestation. Let us see. The description of the flower of life, which is on page 62, which is actually 8. And 8 is the number of creativity and manifestation. We're clearing up any kind of confusion when we talk about this Most High and God and Allah. And I'm not going to say Jesus because he is not God, right? Not even in his own book, and that's what he told you. So all of you that keep on putting him there, it really it makes me wonder about your sanity, your level of thinking, right? All right. Flower of life, divine creativity and manifestation. You are entering a fertile period in your life. Focus on your innate creativity and how potent this is becoming, and watch it rapidly grow. You are guided to think of yourself as a creative being and to surrender your control over how things will manifest and instead allow them to do so. Don't resist change. Instead, flow and let it happen. Now is the time for your blossoming. Your soul is hungering for creativity and manifestation of the beauty of your inner world, right? Because anytime you are, let's talk about higher power, higher power. Or let's talk about source, right? Now, I'm an earthling and I'm talking about these things. So, who and what am I talking about, right? So, let's do a little science here. What gives the earth, what gives what is on the earth, what gives the earth life? One answer. What gives the earth life? Peace, peace, peace. I'm just now seeing the chat. I'm actually trying to concentrate on what I'm saying because it's not written down. It's coming off the dome. So peace and thank you for joining in the chat. So what I'm getting at is when we're talking about all these religions and how it shaped the mind of the people, to look past the actual source and to give its credit to someone else. Now, if I was doing a PowerPoint slide or a slideshow, right now I would have the image of Christ and I'd have him in front of the sun. Big old sun, and he's in front of it, right? And they call him the Son of God. He's standing in front of the sun, right? But in some instance, they call him God. But when he's standing in front of the sun, he's the Son of God, literally. And so are you. And I would be a daughter of God if that's the case. But literally, at least they have shown you the true God. It's in the picture. Jesus is standing in front of it. The true God is in the picture. It's the Son, the actual SUN. If you haven't noticed, there is a war going on right in front of your face. This war is against the sun. It's mankind against the sun, right? So you're painted on sky and all the little drone planes that you see with the X's and the tic-tac-toe and all that stuff in the sky right now. That is your war. And guess what? You can see it. It's actually a spiritual war. A war against God. God is having war declared upon it. And man is doing nothing in the defense. It is defending itself. Yeah. I'm going to share a channel with you. If you have any doubt about what I am saying, I would like you to pay attention and look at these 10-minute clips every day, okay? Because I have been watching this war every day since 2018 when it came to my consciousness. Right? All of these painted on skies to disguise what the true and living God is trying to show you. If they would just leave things alone, you would see it. Do you know you're being changed on a DNA level quicker than you could ever imagine at this time? Why? Because the sun is giving off extra flares. And they have levels. They're called M flares, X flares. Those are the ones. The sun is powering up, and it's as strong as it's ever been for a purpose. And mankind is trying to stop that purpose from happening. And thus, the gods are angry. That's just a little joke. But there's a picture of the flower of life. It's a sacred geometric pattern. And it has great purpose. What we can do is I want you to watch this channel. It's a YouTube channel. It's called Mr. MB33. Mr. MD 33. Now, every day from all across the world and all across America, others are sending in videos and tracking the sun's journey. And literally, you can see where 2 to 3 times more radiation is being barreled towards Earth. Why is that? Because it's time. Everything happens in cycles, and we are at the cycle where the sun needs the Earth to do a thing. It is her time. Earth is said to be female. And why not? She gives birth to so much, which is why the sun is looked at as a male energy. But I don't think so. Sounds good, but I don't think so. The sun is all things, right? If you were to call it God, you couldn't possibly call it a male by itself. And it is divine creativity and manifestation. It can't do that alone. Think. Think for just a minute. Does that make any sense? Doesn't the earth give life to male and female things alike? Okay, and so the sun's power hits the earth, makes things grow. Makes sense to call the sun male, but it can't be male alone because it is a creator. So it has to be all things at the same time. So tell me, why does mankind insist on calling it a male? Is it because the moon exists? That's no reason. Now we have these gender wars going on in the cosmos. Who started that? It certainly wasn't God. We've come to the conclusion that God would have to be all things, right? At the same time. So it's male, female, alike. It is creator. It is a manifestor. It has everything it needs for that to happen, right? Not dependent upon anything, right? As far as you know. Now they say there's a central sun that powers that sun, but for all you know, as being an earthling, all you got to worry about is that one, right? So the God of the earth is the sun, right? Doesn't it affect every single thing on earth? Yes. No minerals, no gold, no silver, no diamonds, no none of that without the sun. No nothing. No me, no you. Nothing. So I would say, if you were under the beck and call of a thing to even exist, I would say that is your God. or goddess or whatever you want to call it. The sun is more than that. If it produces gods and goddesses, then it would be more than that. It's a lot more than that. It is the creator, creatress. It's singular in itself, composed of itself, existing of itself, as far as you know. We have been told life has been called forth out of the sun. That is some of our very first information, and which it was construed and put into some of your Bibles in your Genesis chapters. But I got to get you to think, because if we were thinking properly, we would have all united and got together and stopped this war against the sun. It has its purpose, and it must be for mankind's benefit. Who doesn't benefit from more free energy? Well, man, the man, does not benefit because it's harnessing it and selling it back to you. Us. Yeah, we are being sold what is free. How do you like that? Ready to go worship God some more? Hmm? You must ask yourself, what are you worshiping? Because I think it is man. It is not the true God. Because if it were, we would have united by now to stop this dastardly war against the God of the earth, which is the sun. Again, prove it not. You cannot. You cannot. It is what it is. So then you're all either joining God. Oh, no, no, scratch that. You're joining with the enemy against God. Now, I'm not here for all the fluffiness. There's too many of them out there giving you the fluff now. The meat of this actual card, it was actually just the words here, because this is actually on another level, but it's on the level of the conversation because it showed you the flower of life. It gives you incantations and whatnot, and because of divine creativity and manifestation, we are taught how to manifest and create. It gets easier when you know the source. No more with my head down, hands clenched, praying to whatever. Jesus, Allah, Yahweh, whoever. You were told to simply ask and you would receive. But it didn't tell you who to ask, what to ask. You assumed it's asking God, but he stands in front of the sun. What a dastardly trick. Oh my goodness. Right in front of your face. That is how they get you. So anything that is you find so easy, you must Look deeper into it. And then you must stop and see what's right in front of you. All of your dependence is on the sun, yet you don't know your dependence. You don't defend what has been dependent for you to live. You don't defend it. You are a mockery against God as it rises and sets just for you every day. You choose to worship the man in front of the sun, but not the sun itself, which is the giver of life and sustainer and transformer. You can't even die right without the sun. Literally. You surely can't be born in your mama's womb properly without the sun. A lot of genetic defects are because of the lack of sunlight in the belly. If we had known that, we would have been in the sun more. Those that can be in the sun. But it's made for everyone. But did it have preferences? Does it like some more than others? I'll leave that up to you. If you look in front of your face, you might have an answer. And then there's a group that calls itself the chosen one. The criteria on earth to be called a chosen one would be how long you'd be able to live under the sun. That would have to be a test. You would have to gauge everything on earth by the sun's association with it. Or you can exit up out of here, but you must have a meeting with the sun before you do. You can't even exit Earth without the sun. And yet, you give it your lily ass to kiss every day. You think not about it. You worship not it. You don't offer it a thing. But you want to be saved. What do you need to be saved from? What do you need to be saved for? What is it that you need to get saved of? What a dastardly spell billions of people are under. So count yourself blessed. If you can just understand what gives you, your family, your loved ones, your community, your country, your world, your planet, right? Life, everlasting. You cannot even have everlasting without the sun. Having everlasting life would be the privilege of your soul traveling back through the portal from whence it came. What a sad state of affairs Earthlings are in. I don't know what's going to become of you. And so I'll say this. I had a dream about 15, maybe about a good 13, 14, 15 years ago. And it said, well, what I saw was it's always me in an invisible place observing. And I saw the entire Earth's people. Imagine the entire Earth's people bowed down, begging and worshiping and praising and just hoping towards a huge sun that sat on a throne. And this throne was indestructible because it was intact amongst all the heat. And the sun was a ball, but you could tell it was the sun. And it was just burning, sitting on the throne. It was hovering, but it was sitting in the chair. It was hovering in the chair on the throne. And it was just burning and hovering. And every single woman, man, boy, and child was bowed down before it. That was the ultimate message. That was the day I began to investigate what I thought God was. Because I had been shown who the true and living God was. You know why? Because before I went to bed, I asked to be shown. And I was that very night. And my outlook on things has never, ever been the same. That came out of my mouth at exactly 33 minutes and 33 seconds. Quadruple threes. And that was the word that came out of my mouth. So I'm going to wrap up because I think my job is done here for now. Because there's more to this. Because we got to be careful what we say because words are power, right? So what I'm going to say is we wrestle not against flesh and blood, mere mortals amongst each other. All we can do, the most we can do, is kill each other. In the bigger scheme of things, what does that solve? But what I will say is just as equally as important as living is knowing what you're living for and why it came about. Who, what, when, where, how, and why. Well, The answer to those questions, my friends, is the sun. And as the ancient Phoenicians taught us, Ra is the masculine name and Ra'et is the feminine name. So some of us already knew that the sun was neither male nor female alone, but male and female alike, because it is a creator that manifests divinely. In order for that to happen, everything must be in alignment and all parts must be there working together. If only man and woman on the earth, if only the earth beings born of the earth could get that little thing, maybe then we won't be bickering and scrapping with everything that comes our way. Maybe we won't manipulate each other. What does that solve? It only makes the sun hotter. To burn and purify the wretchedness out of all beings. You know, you're not born a sinner. You are born in divine creativity and manifestation. They lied to you. But you can be born a sinner and saved by some other earthling's grace if you like. That is up to you. Now, just like we have a card to open, let us have a card to close. And hopefully the closing card will reflect the conversation. Because truth has a way of popping up at the very perfect time. And if I tell you a lie, may that also be revealed. But instead, life shall be restored by the priestess of the Phoenix. Isn't that cute? Look at it. You see her crown? That is a replica of the sun. You see? Life restored. No life restored without the sun. Now, if that wasn't the most perfect card, that's the crown. Okay. Thank you for that lesson. It was a very deep life lesson. One of the most important lessons, eventually you will find that it was. And when you realize it, you grab a hold of that sun and you never look back, because it is your saving grace, that sun. Because the day we don't see the sun is the day our asses is out of here. And on that note, peace from the Tonya 23 experience.